Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board, the semi-monthly meeting for May 19th to order, 7 p.m. Roll call, please.
Bernie Bassett.
Here.
Thomas Wood.
Here.
Mark Mannix.
Here.
Michael Cashman.
Here.
Gerard Rendedeck.
Here.
Rick Collins.
Resolution 169, approving the minutes of the previous meeting.
Resolved that the minutes of May 8th, 2014 be approved and the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Rendedeck, second.
Second.
Mr. Cashman, any discussion?
I didn't see it, but the minutes that I had been corrected on that, on 53.
I didn't get anything on that either, Rick. The change on the number 153.
Call from Tom's there from yes to no.
Yeah, we had to change that to
I
no
did.
action. Okay,
Was that changed to no action?
so that one fell off the table.
I just wanted to make sure that it still
Okay.
was.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Mark Mannix.
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes.
Gerard Rendedeck.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. We have 3 public hearings this evening, which I'm going to open the first. It's just about 7:05. And we'll leave these open for a period in case someone does come in, and I'll get back to them to close them before the end of our regular meeting. The first public hearing we have is concerning proposed changes to the zoning ordinance amendment. I would like a motion to open this hearing.
So moved.
Mr. Wood, a second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette. And we will open this at, I'm using the wall clock, 7:05. Is there anyone who has written comments to put into the record? And is there anyone present who would like to make comment concerning the zoning ordinance amendments? And if not, we will leave that open as I said, and I will get back to that shortly. Resolution 170, abstract 5B.
Resolved that the abstract of water claims number 5B-14, 823 to 931 for $28,421.42. An abstract 5B-14, 182 to 195 prepaid in the amount of $293,706.40. Be received as reviewed by the audit committee, and the supervisors hereby authorized to pay said abstract.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Cashman, we have a second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Mark Mannix.
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes.
Gerard Rendedeck.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 171, Codes and Zoning Department Monthly Report.
We say resolve to receive and place on file a report from Stephen Imhoff, Code Enforcement Officer for the month of April 2014.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Mannix, second.
Second.
Mr. Wood, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Mark Mannix.
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes.
Gerard Rendedeck.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 172, Supervisor's Monthly Financial Report.
Resolve to receive and place on file a supervisor's financial report for the month of April 2014.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second.
Second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Mark Mannix.
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes.
Gerard Rendedeck.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 173, Town Clerk's Monthly Report.
Resolved to receive and place on file a report from Rick Collins, Town Clerk, for the month of April 2014.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Cashman, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Manick,
Yes.
Michael Cash.
Yes.
Gerard Rundett.
Yes.
Bernie Bass.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 174, Water Wastewater Department's monthly report.
Resolved to receive and place on file a report from Scott Stoddard, Director of the Water and Wastewater Department for April 2014.
Motion.
So moved.
Mr. Woods, second.
Second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Manick,
Yes.
Michael Cash.
Yes.
Gerard Rundett.
Yes.
Bernie Bass.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 175, recognition, Cumberland Head Fire Department Fireman of the Year to Arthur Rowe.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh recognizes the volunteer service to our community as both valuable and necessary part of the quality of life. Whereas the town board chooses to recognize individuals when they serve their community in a manner worthy of commendation. Therefore be resolved that the town of Plattsburgh Town Board recognizes and commends Mr. Art Rowe, a resident of the town of Plattsburgh and a member of the Cumberland Head Volunteer Fire Department for his service and recent recognition as a recipient of the Cumberland Head Fire Department Fireman of the Year Award. And be further resolved that the supervisor write a letter of recognition to Mr. Rowe, acknowledging his achievements and the town's appreciation for his service to our community.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Cashman, second.
Second.
Mr. Wood, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Manick,
Yes.
Michael Cash.
Yes.
Gerard Rundett.
Yes.
Bernie Bass.
Yes, resolution's carried. Resolution 176, recognition, Cumberland Head Fire Department Fireman of the Year to Wolfgang Mattis.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh recognizes the voluntary service to our community as both valuable and a necessary part of the quality of life in our community. Whereas the town board chooses to recognize individuals when they service their community in a manner worthy of commendation. Therefore be resolved that the town of Plattsburgh Town Board recognizes and commends Mr. Wolfgang Mattis, a resident of the town of Plattsburgh and a member of the Cumberland Head Volunteer Fire Department, for his service and recent recognition as a recipient of the Cumberland Head Fire Department Fireman of the Year Award. And it be further resolved that the supervisor write a letter of recognition to Mr. Mattis acknowledging his achievements and the town's appreciation for his service to our community.
A motion.
So moved.
Mr. Cashman, second.
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 Mr. Wood, any discussion?
I think it should be pointed out that there was two Firemen of the Year at Cumberland Head, and they both deserved it. And
Yes.
that's what they chose, and I think that's good that we're recognizing both of them.
Mike and I were there. I believe they acknowledged that it was the first time that that had happened. They just couldn't sort one out of one for the other, so very good. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Manick,
Yes.
Michael Cash.
Yes.
Gerard Rundett.
Yes.
Bernie Bass.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 177, reappointment of Robert Fuller to the Board of Directors for the Cernak River Trail Greenway.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh Master Plan for Parks and Recreation and Complete Street Committee has identified a need for the creation of a bike trail, walking trails, blue way trails to improve pedestrian access to parks, historical sites, and other recreational locations within the town of Plattsburgh. Whereas the Saranac River Trail is an organization that promotes the development of said trails, and the town of Plattsburgh represents on the Saranac River Trail Greenway Board member Robert Fuller's term will be expiring on June 3rd, 2014. Whereas Mr. Fuller has indicated he is willing to continue as a member of the Saranac River Trail Green Board, therefore be resolved that the town board hereby reappoints Mr. Robert Fuller to represent the town of Plattsburgh and support Saranac River Trail Green initiatives for a term to expire on July 2015. And be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to Mr. Fuller, Mr. James Bosley of the Clinton County Planning Office, Melanie DeFayette, and Phil Von Bargen, and the finance manager.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Renedick, second.
Second.
Mr. Cashman, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Manick,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes.
Gerard Renner.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes,
And I
resolution
might
carries.
add that he's done a wonderful job on the, Complete Streets Committee and as a representative for this.
I would agree.
Fortunate to have him.
Yes.
Resolution 178, on-call temporary position in the Water and Wastewater Department.
Whereas the supervisor has received a letter dated May 14, 2014, from the Water and Wastewater Director, Scott Stoddard, requesting that due to 2 staff resignations and 1 retirement, the town board fill an on-call temporary position in the Water Wastewater Maintenance Worker 2 in the Water and Wastewater Department. But whereas Mr. Joe Dupree, a former town employee who has the skills and training to perform the necessary duties, has agreed to work on a temporary basis to fill the department's need. Therefore, be resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized to sign all documents to hire Mr. Dupree as a temporary employee in the Water and Wastewater Department, and that a certified copy of this resolution be given to the Budget Officer, Water and Wastewater Director, Finance Manager, Coal Insurance, and the Civil Service of Clinton County Department of Personnel for their final approval, and that a copy be placed in Mr. Dupree's personnel file. And it be further resolved that the town board welcomes Mr. Dupree back to the town with appreciation for his willingness to serve in this capacity.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Manick, second.
Second?
Mr. Wood, any discussion?
I just think it should be noted that Scott did say that these expenses are within the waste and water administrative department budget, so.
And also that he's down 3 feet.
Okay, any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Martin Manick,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes.
Gerard Renner.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes,
Um,
resolution carries.
Minus 7:15, second.
Oh, thank you, Tom. We have a second public hearing I need to open.
We need to close it further?
We don't have to, Marty, just to get this one logged in at 7:15. I'd rather do that now, and then I'll go back and close the other. This public hearing is concerning proposed changes to zoning ordinance amendments. If I could have, oh, excuse me, grab the wrong one, that one's open. Let me start over. This public hearing is in relation to the Stafford Road, 310 Stafford Road, the fact that there's an unsafe structure, and there has been recommendation for demolition and removal, according to section 6 of the Town of Plattsburgh local laws. If I could have a motion to open this hearing.
So moved.
Mr. Manick, second. Mr. Wood. And I will call that open at 7:15. Is there anyone who has any written comments for the record? Any comments to make?
This is the
Public
demo
comments?
one and not the zoning.
This is the
ordinance.
demo. Okay? We will leave that open, but I do want to go back, at least I trip up one more time, to the public hearing that's open concerning the zoning ordinance amendments. No one else has entered the room, so I will call for a motion to close this hearing.
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, a second on that motion.
Second.
Mr. Cashman, and we will close this hearing at 7:17. Resolution 179, retirement and resignation of Thomas LaValle as an emergency
Do we
ser-
need to do a roll call on the closing?
I don't have that on my documents, Marty. Yes, I do, excuse me. Yes, I do, I didn't see it on the bottom. Ricky, if I could get a roll call on the closing of the hearing?
Thomas Wood, he's absent now. Martin Manick,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes.
Gerard Renner.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. Thank you, Marty.
Yes.
I haven't flipped the paper yet, so
Friendly down.
you're in.
I just wanna say, I keep going out, but I went to get my hearing aid batteries, and, I had forgotten I left my keys in the car, so I couldn't get in my drawer to get the hearing aid batteries out.
A series of complex activities. Do you need-
Yes.
Do you need time now to put
No,
those
I
in? Tom?
have them all set.
You're all set, okay. Resolution 179, retirement resignation of Thomas LaValle as the Emergency Services Coordinator.
Whereas Mr. Thomas LaValle has submitted a letter of resignation and retirement from his position as Emergency Service Coordinator. Now therefore be resolved that the town board does hereby accept Mr. LaValle's letter of retirement effective May 31st, 2014. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be put in his personnel file, and that a copy be given to the finance manager for filing with New York State Retirement System.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Woods, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette, any discussion?
I assume this means he's finished the, preliminary,
The,
looking at everything that we needed to do
right,
for security.
the position as we defined it with a maximum of 40 hours is done unless we were to go through civil service and make changes. He does have a summary document, it's got a lot more than 40 hours in it. I shared that earlier, we went through that page by page, myself, Mr. LaValle, and Mr. Bro. His report was very positive, he was quite pleased with what he saw. Brought up some suggestions, some of which would be very difficult with our physical plant, some would be quite expensive. But as I shared with everyone earlier, there are a couple of simpler things. For example, he picked up that the switches on the wall and the core are all toggle switches, which would not be a very difficult thing for someone to suddenly throw them down and we'd be in a state of darkness down there, which could cause some gas. We never thought to put security switches in, which have to be keyed. So there are some recommendations. I will be extracting from that a couple of documents that I'll make sure and get to department heads. There's a very quick protocol of what do I do if, what do I do when, has updated numbers and so on. So it was, I'll leave the document, Tom, on the table of the situation room for a while so you can look it over.
I'd also like to point out, in his letter of resignation, that he found the staff very cooperative and receptive and willing to provide assistance, and I think that's a good indication of the type of staff we have.
He did a number of interviews, spent a couple of different nights in court observing procedures, campus tours, et cetera.
This is something that I wasn't in support of originally, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the final product that he produced for 40 hours. I still believe that we could have done this through other means, so just putting that out there.
Okay, any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Mannix,
Yes.
Michael Cashman,
I'm going to abstain.
George Renadette.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, the resolution carries. Resolution 180. 3% site plan return deposit for Stephen Sikarsky, expansion site plan 2013.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh Planning Board has reviewed and approved all requirements of the Stephen Zaharsky Site Plan 2013. Whereas Stephen Zaharsky Site Plan 2013 has been filed with the town of Plattsburgh a 3% deposit for construction of their project in the original amount of $1,065 plus accrued interest. Whereas the planning department has coordinated inspections of said project and reports all requirements have been met and completed. Whereas Stephen Zaharsky Site Plan 2013 has requested a 3% deposit in the amount of $1,065 plus accrued interest to date to be returned. Now therefore be resolved, the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to release of the said deposit in the amount of $1,065 plus accrued interest to date. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded by the planning board, planning department secretary with the return of the deposit to Stephen Zaharsky.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Woods, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Mannix,
Yes.
Michael Cashman,
Yes.
Gerard Renadette.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution passes. Resolution 181, 3% site plan return deposit for Todd McCarthy expansion site plan 2013.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh Planning Board has reviewed and approved all requirements of the Todd McCarthy Site Plan 2013. And whereas Todd McCarthy Site Plan 2013 has on file with the town of Plattsburgh a 3% deposit for construction of their project in the original amount of $6,484.01, plus accrued interest. Whereas the planning department has coordinated inspections of said project and reports all requirements have been met and completed. Whereas Todd McCarthy Site Plan 2013 has requested that the 3% deposit in the amount of $6,484.01 plus accrued interest to date be returned. Now therefore be resolved, the supervisor hereby authorized and directed to release the said deposit in the amount of $6,484.01 plus accrued interest to date. And to be further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution be forwarded by the planning department secretary with the return deposit to Todd McCarthy.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Cashman, second.
Second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Martin Mannix,
Yes.
Michael Cash.
Yes.
George Renadette.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution number 182, contract number 1, Route 9 pump station, generator change order number 1.
Whereas by resolution 13-355, the town of Plattsburgh previously awarded Mountain Lake Electrical Incorporated authorization to provide generator for Route 9 North Pump Station. Whereas LaBerge Engineering and Consulting Group and Scott Stoddard, Director of Water and Wastewater Department, have reviewed change order number 1 for payment as indicated. Therefore be resolved, the supervisor is hereby authorized to make payment in the amount of $3,660 for change order number 1 dated May 13, 2014, payable to Mountain Lake Electrical, 102 Trade Road, Plattsburgh, New York, 12901. And it be further resolved that this executed change order number 1 be given to the finance manager, LaBerge Engineering Consulting Group, Mountain Lake Electrical Incorporated, and also to the Director of the Water and Wastewater
Have
Department.
a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Mannix, second.
I'll second for the purposes of discussion, please.
Mr. Renadette, discussion.
Yeah, I'm just curious, and I apologize for springing this on you, but why was there a need for an additional panel at a cost of $3,600? I'm just wondering if it was something that was missed.
I know I was gonna address it, because it was interesting. It's, what happened, this was all caused by the flooding damage, Irene, caused down on Route 9. And what happened was there's been a change in the electrical code, and when they went in to put the generator in, the electrical panels, et cetera, were located in the lower level. And the new code will not allow for those panels to be located in the lower level. They had to relocate them to a level where they would be above any potential for flooding. When you think about it, that makes total
Right.
sense.
But is that code since Irene, or?
No, the code changed
Right,
in the interim.
oh, okay,
But we weren't required to update at that time, but because we were making the change,
mhm,
we had to do the rewiring in accordance with the new code.
okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I was gonna say, if this was the problem of our engineering, then maybe engineering should have swallowed the $3,600. I guess I
can't blame it on the
I guess
engineering,
we
huh?
can't blame it on the engineering. Thank you, Mr. Mannix.
Any other discussion?
Because I had the same questions.
Yeah, whenever you see a change order, you question as to, was
Why?
it something that we wanted additional, or is it something that was missed in the original design? And if that's the case, then somebody has to pony up for this. All right, thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Martin Mannix,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes.
George Renadette.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 183, proposed formation of a finance committee and policy.
Whereas the town board is responsible for the general management and control of town finances, town law, section 64-1. And an important aspect of the responsibility is to provide a process to monitor and to review on a routine basis the work performed by those who handle money as part of their municipal duties. And whereas in an effort to improve accountability and control over finances and accounts, the town of Plattsburgh Town Board would like to form a finance committee to perform an advisory role to the supervisor, town board, and finance manager, and to make recommendations concerning budget and financial plans and programming to enable the town to meet its financial goals and objectives. And whereas the committee shall consist of 6 members, the town board's finance manager, a town councilor, non-voting rights, 4 members serving staggered terms consisting of 1, 2, 3, and 4 years. All committee members shall be residents of the town, or shall operate or have operated a business within the town boundaries, and must be approved by the town board resolution. Whereas said proposal has been laid on the desk of the town board and has been reviewed by the supervisor and the board. Therefore be resolved, the finance committee proposal be accepted, including the recommendation rules and procedures as attached. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution and the attached rules and procedures be provided to the bookkeeper to update to the town policy book, and a copy be given to the finance manager.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Cashman, second.
Second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion?
I think this is an outstanding idea. I look forward to the formation of the committee, and I think it will be an excellent assist to the finance manager and to us.
I would echo that comment, Marty, over the last several weeks, in speaking with Pat about his needs to better formulate services, in an advisory capacity. I think this allows Joe and Jane Public, more access through transparency of our government, which is something that, I certainly been pushing for with getting our meetings online, more resources to people to better understand, what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, but it has a true function of helping our staff member provide the best information as we go into budget season as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this develops over the weeks, months, and even years, so.
And thank you for your help on that. Mike and Patrick worked really hard. We reviewed this, went back and forth a couple of times, and I think we have certainly a good document. And as you mentioned, Mike, over the months and years, over time, we may have amendments and find, new information causes it to change a bit, and that's what you want.
And I would agree, I think
That's what you want.
this document is gonna become very dynamic
Mhm.
over time, as the town, is constantly changing. The only thing that's constant is change itself, so.
The one thing that was missing that I feel should be addressed, and
Oh,
our supervisor brought
point.
this,
Yep.
brought this to my attention, after I talked with him, that one way we could do it is to have the committee, as it's first formed, take care of this particular thing, and that is, if you have a person on that particular committee who is not doing their job, who is obstructing things, or isn't attending, or isn't doing that, as a way of removing that person, instead of having to go through the whole 4 years without that person being able to participate. And our supervisor suggested that we have this addressed by the finance committee itself after it's first formed, and then provide us with recommendation.
Sure.
Duly noted. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Mannix,
Yes.
Michael Cash.
Yes.
Charles Renz.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 180, oh,
There we go, back.
yes it is, thank you very much. We're a pinch over. What I think I'm going to do, our audience hasn't changed. I'd like to go back to the public hearing that is currently open concerning the property on 310 Stafford Road. Assume no one still has comments to make, so I'd seek a motion to close that hearing.
So moved.
It was a 7:05 one that we had too, but if you want to do 7:15 first,
We
that's.
close that one.
Close those out.
Okay, then this one,
Howard's on the
that's
hallway.
the one that's the one I voted on out there, okay. The one thing that's, I say on this one is that, this person, was, notified apparently on May 9th, again, after all the other notifications, to make sure, have come and told about this particular hearing. The only thing I have a question is on the letter by Mr. Einhoff. It says in regard to a letter of May 5th, the town assessor had enclosed a change in the assessed value of the property. So the owner was notified of this and knew that, and still did not come forward to
No one,
take care of this matter.
no one present on their behalf, and no comments, correct?
Bernie, you know, the newspaper seemed to indicate that she was all, you know, in touch with the town. That's not the case.
There was a communication, it was not about the demolition.
She asked for a reduction in
I
her
knew
assessment.
that, that's what it said in the newspaper, that they
Yeah.
had reduced it and that she was trying and blah, 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 but, and this was right after your meeting, you know, a few days after your last meeting, so you never heard anything.
No, absolutely not.
Well, it definitely needs to be torn down. It
And-
really is quite a hazard, and I think we just have to go ahead with it.
Did we have a second on that?
I didn't get the motion.
Gerard,
I moved it.
Gerard made the motion.
And do I have a second to
Second.
close this? Mr. Cashman. And if we could get a roll call on the closing of this hearing.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Martin Mannix,
Yes,
Michael Cash.
Yes.
Gerard Rendell.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, and we'll call this one closed at 7:34. Now, I would like to open our third hearing this evening. And this public hearing is concerning local law number 1 of 2014, which is a law that has been designed to address the maintenance of town sidewalks, keeping them clear of snow and ice. I get a motion to open this hearing.
So moved.
Mr. Wood, a second on that motion.
Second.
Mr. Renadat. And a roll call to open the hearing.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Martin Mannix,
yes.
Michael Cash.
Yes.
Gerard Rendell.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, and the hearing will be opened at 7:35. Is there anyone who has a written comment that they would like to submit? Anyone who would like to make comment publicly? If not, we'll leave that open and go back to the agenda, which is resolution, well, it's 184, but I don't want to do that
Oh, that's right.
until
Let's go to the next one.
I let this hearing be open a bit, so I'm going to jump out of sequence and go to resolution 185, setting a public hearing for 2014 zoning ordinance and subdivision fee schedule amendments.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh, November 2012 zoning ordinance provides for fees that shall be changed as set forth by the town board from time to time, shall be reviewed, and after a public hearing duly held at least 10 days after the publication of notice of time and such place, respective hearing may be amended. And whereas the town board has duly adopted subdivision regulations for the development of land within the town of Plattsburgh, which regulates has also been amended from time to time by the town board resolution. Whereas after careful study of said ordinance and continuation consulting with the town board, the planning department has proposed changes to the existing fee schedule. Now therefore be resolved that the town board, after review and discussion of said proposed changes to the fee schedule duly authorized by Article 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 17, and the town of Plattsburgh subdivision regulations, Article 9, is hereby receive and place on file the proposed changes that are set forth in the attached schedule fee 2014. And it be further resolved that the town board shall hold public hearings in relation to the proposed changes to the fee schedule to be held at the town hall at 151 Baker Road, Plattsburgh, New York, 12901, on June 2nd, 2014, at 7:05 PM Eastern Daylight Savings Time. And it be further resolved pursuant to provisions of Article 16 of the town zoning ordinance, the town clerk shall cause a notice of time and place of said public hearing to be published in the Press Republican, a paper of general circulation of the town of Plattsburgh, at least once on or before May 22nd, 2014. And such notice shall be posted in the town hall and on the town website. And be further resolved that a copy of this resolution and attachment be given to the town clerk and to the planning and zoning department.
Have a motion.
So,
Mr. Renadette, second Mr. Wood. Any discussion?
What, the first whereas, is that charged or changed on the second one? Shall be,
It should be changed. It does say charged. I would say changed would be appropriate, more appropriate.
and then, just so I'm clarified, because I didn't hear it quite
Mhm.
correctly, the articles authorized, that were proposed fee changes would be 7, 8, 9,
Yes.
16, and 17, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, so it's not 10, and then the subdivision regulations is Article 9.
Right.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure what it's hearing and what's here is the same.
Any other discussion? Mr. Renadette, Mr. Wood, as changed in the first whereas,
Yes.
and if we get a roll call vote.
Okay, Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Manick,
Yes.
Michael Cash.
Yes.
George Renadette.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 186, a resolution to set a public hearing for local law number 2 in relation to peddling, soliciting, and transient retail merchants.
Whereas Supervisor Bassett has introduced proposed local law number 2 of the year 2014 entitled Peddling, Soliciting, and Transit Retail Merchants. Whereas proposed local law number 2 of 2014 would provide the town of Plattsburgh policy to assist in management of its businesses and preserving of goods, order, and peace, health, safety, and welfare of its inhabitants, and to protect the security of its property in relation to peddling, soliciting, and transit retail merchants in the town of Plattsburgh. Whereas pursuant to section 617, implementing regulations to Article 8, State Environmental Quality Review Act, the town of Plattsburgh Town Board, the lead agency in this matter, shall determine whether adoption of the proposed local law shall have a significant effect upon the environment. Whereas due consideration has been given to the adoption of local law number 2 of 2014 by all members of the town board. Whereas it is the consideration opinion of all members of the town board who are present at the public hearing shall be held the 16th day of June 2014 at 7:05 PM in the town hall, town of Plattsburgh, 151 Banker Road, Plattsburgh, New York, to consider the adoption of proposed local law number 2 of 2014. Now on a motion duly made and seconded, it is resolved that the public hearing be held on the 16th day of June 2014 at 7:05 PM at the town hall, 151 Baker Road, Plattsburgh, New York, on questions of the enactment of proposed local law number 2 of 2014. And it be further resolved, notice of hearing of proposal of local law number 2 of 2014 shall be published in the town's official newspaper, the Press Republican, not less than 5 days prior to the hearing. And it be further resolved that the town clerk shall post a notice on the bulletin board maintained by the town clerk pursuant to town law, section 30, section 6, on the town website for a period of not less than 5 days prior to the public hearing. And that a copy of this resolution should be given to the finance manager and the town clerk.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Wood, second.
Second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion?
We also put it up on, oh yeah, we have it on the website, okay, I see that.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Manick,
Yes.
Michael Cash.
Yes.
Gerard Renner.
yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, the resolution carries. I'd like to go back to,
Oh, okay, I did have one, question on this, in terms of this particular one. this would apply to those, like the tent sales for all those cars.
Yep.
This would now give us the ability to charge them a more reasonable fee compared to what the people in
Has to, yeah.
local merchants would have to pay?
Right.
Okay.
Not quite the same when you think about the cost of a dealership versus a permit for that.
Yeah, I understand, but they bring a lot of vehicles in from outside.
Oh, I know, my phone rings off the wall. We have a public hearing currently open. This was the one concerning the local law number 1 of 2014, keeping sidewalks clear of snow and ice. Is there anyone who would like to make comment? If not, I would ask for a motion to close that hearing.
So moved.
Mr. Wood, do we have a second?
Second?
Mr. Renadette? And if I could get a roll call on the motions.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Mannix,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes.
George Renadette.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, this hearing will stand closed at 7:43. Then I will go back to Resolution 184, which is the adoption of local law number 1, 2014, keeping sidewalks clear of snow, ice, and debris.
Whereas Resolution 14-161 was duly adopted by the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board to set a public hearing that was held at the Town of Plattsburgh Town Hall, 151 Baker Road, Plattsburgh, New York, on May 19, 2014, at 7:30 p.m., to hear all interested parties on a proposed local law entitled Keeping Town Sidewalks Clear of Snow, Ice, and Debris. Whereas the notice of said public hearing was duly advertised in the Press Republican, the official newspaper of the Town of Plattsburgh, and posted on the bulletin board maintained by the town clerk pursuant to Town Law, Section 30-6, and posted on the Town of Plattsburgh website for a period not less than 5 days prior to the public hearing. Whereas pursuant to Part 617, the implementation regulations pertaining to Article 8, State Environmental Quality Review Act, has been determined that the town board that adopted a proposed local law would not have a significant effect upon the environment and could be processed by the applicant government agency without further regards to seeker. And whereas the town board, after due deliberation, finds it is in the best interest of the town to adopt said local law. Now therefore be resolved that the town board, Town of Plattsburgh, hereby adopts local law as local law number 1 of 2014, entitled Keeping Town Sidewalks Clear of Snow, Ice, and Debris, a copy of which too is attached hereto to make part thereof. And the town clerk shall be, and hereby is directed, to enter the local law into the minute books for the meeting, and to enter the said local law into the Town of Plattsburgh local law book, and to give such notice of adoption of local law to the Secretary of State. And it be further resolved that the local law shall take effect immediately upon filing in the office of the Secretary of State.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Cashman, a second.
Second.
Mr. Wood, any discussion?
Yes, as it says that we're gonna send a copy to the Secretary of State, we might wanna send one to the State Department of Transportation too.
We could do that if you'd like, but I don't know
Just so
that they would
know they're not supposed to follow it.
want to hear that, because they may be learning about that in another format
Oh, I
next
see.
week.
Yeah.
Okay, that will be interesting.
I also think we want to make notice that it should go within a binder here of local laws.
We do have that noted,
Plattsburgh local law.
And I saw.
local
In the
law book.
Plattsburgh local.
In our, now therefore, right
Yeah,
at
the
the end.
last one.
Where we don't have though, I'll make a note, we also
Did you
have
get this
created
info?
electronic format.
Plattsburgh local law book, second to last sentence.
In the town of Plattsburgh, that's okay.
Any other discussion? I would add also, the town attorney, Mr. Coffey, did share this with our town justices. It's usually his practice, if there is a fine or fee, to get their feedback and input as well, and make them aware. It's
I
going.
saw Kevin's response.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Martin Manick,
Yes.
Michael Cash,
Yes.
Gerard Renzo.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes, the resolution carries. Resolution 187, authorization to advertise for the demolition of property at 310 Stafford Road.
Whereas resolution 14-132 was passed for determination of the 310 Stafford Road to specifications to be an unsafe building, and for the town codes department to process under local law number 1 of the year 1983 with the process to demolition of said building. Whereas codes department requests the town board to publish an advertisement for demolition in the local newspaper, and a public hearing was held to hear from all interested parties on May 19, 2014 at 7:15 p.m. Therefore be resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to have an advertisement published in the Press Republican for sealed bids with non-conclusive bid form entitled demolition of property. Return on or before Friday, May 30th, 2014 at 12:30 p.m. Prevailing time at the Town Hall Office Complex, 151 Baker Road, Plattsburgh, New York, 12901. At which time the town clerk will publicly open sealed bids. And it be further resolved that specifications and forms may be obtained from the town clerk's office during regular business hours. And it be further resolved that the town of Plattsburgh Town Board does reserve the right to reject any and all bids offered. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager, code enforcement department, town assessor, and town clerk.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second.
Second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion?
Bernie, the very first whereas, does the word specification have to be there after Stafford Road too?
No, I don't think
I
it
think,
does.
I think that was transposed there for some reason, because it reads well with, was passed for determination of 310 Stafford Road to be an unsafe building.
Right.
Mhm. We will remove specification.
And it does say.
Those word processors, they
Yeah, I
get you
know,
every time.
I know.
They process lots of words, sometimes extras.
In the
Not as bad as the automatic spell check on some of the cell phones.
in the second one, in the second line, it's supposed to be the newspaper, local newspaper, is that right?
In the local paper,
Yeah,
which
In the
one,
local
local
paper.
newspaper?
well, that's
No,
what
are we supposed to?
Rick read, so I wanna make sure,
Oh, I didn't, I
He's
wasn't,
right.
is that,
It is a newspaper.
it-
and then on this first resolve, the,
And up on the end, that's, it's just,
up here?
to publish and advertise.
Yeah, he read that correctly, too,
Okay.
we left out the A, I assume that that's in your copies already
Mhm.
changed.
Yes.
See, I was told some of your copies changed, but mine hasn't, so the last line.
well,
on
we
the-
changed them before we came out here.
Oh,
I wasn't
okay.
gonna reprint everything for a word.
Gotcha, and so I assume that you changed the word in the first resolved and the last line in the middle there publicly?
Yep.
You changed that one too, so it's spelled correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
But the resolved, I'm not comfortable, the way that the opening of the bids is dangling without specifying, and we've
Should be
changed to
timed.
3 PM, and this one implies that they'll be opened after the cutoff time of 12:30. I'd like to amend that to a 3 PM, that gets that last mail in for sure, and to also note that the bids will be opened at 3 PM.
So,
No objection to that.
first resolve, you're talking about?
The first
Yeah.
resolve, right, that
Change.
should all be 3 PM, but we need to specifically mention that the bids will be opened at 3 PM. They'll be received until 3, and then we'll open them after that, at 3. So, again, Gerard, you made the motion.
Returnable on or
Mark?
before May 30th at
3 p.m.
At
3
3
p.m.
PM.
And they'll be publicly opened at 3 PM. It's inferred, it shouldn't be inferred, it needs to be, the 3 PM
Yeah.
needs to be put in there.
Is the office open then?
Yep.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, we've been doing those for quite a while, right? Any other discussion? as amended. Roll call, please.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Mannix,
Yes.
Gerard Renner,
Yes.
Michael Cassidy.
Yes, I just got bumped there, Rick, thanks.
Yeah. Cut and paste or print or whatever you want. Bernie Bass.
Yes, resolution carries. That's the end of the order for business. I think I closed all the public hearings. We acted on all the resolutions. I will seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second.
Second.
Mr. Wood, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Mannix,
Yes.
Michael Cassidy.
Yes.
Gerard Renner,
Yes.
Bernie Bass.
Yes, we will stand adjourned at 7:53 PM.
Ricky, you're gonna need to change on your advertisement for.
Yeah, I made all the notes in there to 3:00.
Yeah, I just got one.
Like my emails.
That might have been done, maybe not at all, but still.
Right.
I think they will.
I tried to call.